Thank you for choosing the SNL Fan Podcast, and I'm your host, just some guy named Jay. And in this installment of the SNL Fan Podcast, what I basically want to do is do a follow-up to the previous podcast I just did, talking about the casting missed opportunities SNL, the things that they should have done for this 2013-2014 season. And I'm not saying like they should have done. It's not like I know any better. I'm just a fan. But just speaking from a fan standpoint, I was saying, they should cast, talking about the diverse groups of people they should have cast instead of just more white people, But this time, in this one, in the last one I said I was going to actually talk about the 5 people that they did cast. Supposedly that they're going to, even though NBC hasn't posted any kind of official statement saying that this is official yet. But the 5 people that that may end up being in the 2013-14 season, I said I was going to break each and every single last one of those 5 people down, and I didn't do it. I just rambled on and on and on about them not casting other types of people, But in this one, I'm actually going to break the 5 people down. All right. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Boom Boom Bang. Mr. Boom Boom Bang is an Atlanta, Georgia-based rapper / producer / songwriter. He has a blazing hot single out right now by the name of Don't Trust Nobody. And I'm going to put the links in the information box below so you can check it out. The single is also on his current mixtape called the Rebuild Mixtape. And, like I said, I'm going to put the links in the information box below, and you should definitely check it out. Check out Mr. Boom Boom Bang. I also did a topic on this SNL Fan Podcast recently, saying, which female cast member, or which cast member, if you're a female yourself, which cast member would you boom boom bang if you got the opportunity? Because they call him Mr. Boom Boom Bang, Mr. Boom Boom Bang, because he has a reputation of banging the ladies, boom boom banging the ladies, of course. But and I said, which have a little fun with it. Who would you, if you had the opportunity to be, to snag, to do a Paul Thomas Anderson and throw your net on a SNL cast member and bring it back to your crib and smash it and knock it up with 3 kids, like he did, who would you do? And so definitely check out that if you get a chance. Check out that. I'm gonna put that link in the information box too. All right. Again, like I said, check out Mr. Boom Boom Bang. All right. Now let's go on to the podcast. This topic, the 5 new hires of SNL, supposedly, allegedly, the people that they may end up on the show. It's not official yet. I think it's not official, but it's official enough for me to talk about it. Because usually when these bloggers and these when they make posts on things like this, it ends up usually being true. So I'm not gonna take. I'm not. I'm just gonna. Well, like I said, let me just go into it. All right. I'm kind of stalling because I'm trying to find the piece of paper that I wrote their names on. Okay, here it is. I'm not organized today. Is paper rattling? Hear it? Okay. First, I want to talk about who should I talk about first? I want to talk about Beck Bennett first. Beck Bennett, he's the guy from the AT&T commercials. The guy that, the AT&T commercials where they say, where he's talking to the little kids and he's saying, which do you like, a big phone or a small phone? And the kids say, a big phone. And he says, why? And, they ask questions and they answer the questions. They say little funny things. Those commercials are very funny, and Beck Bennett's not even necessarily the funny thing in it. The kids are the funny ones. The reactions and the things that the kids say, and the things that the faces that the kids make. That's the funny thing about those commercials. But when I found out that the guy from the AT&T commercials, Beck Bennett, was going to be on the cast of SNL, I was like, wow, that's a good little thing. So I checked out some YouTube things on him. He's pretty cool. And he's also one of the good neighbors. But the reason I'm talking about Beck Bennett first, because I think Beck Bennett was actually a good choice, because I think SNL, like I said, does SNL really need more white guys? I mean, they got Taran Killam, they got Tim Robinson, they got Bobby Moynihan, they got this person, they got Vanessa Beiber. They got all these white guys. They, why do they need more of this, you know. But see, Jason Sudeikis and Bill Hader and them, you know, they're gone, you know. And Beck Bennett, in my opinion, he's the guy that could be a good replacement for like the Jason Sudeikis kind of prototype, you know, because Beck Bennett can play the straight man. He can play the straight man. He has that announcer voice. He has the, you know, he's no homo, but he, you know, he's, you know, like I said, handsome guy. I mean, you know, and I don't call another guy handsome, but you know what I mean. You know, guy that puts on a suit and tie and dress well, you know, and can play those roles, you know, and clean cut, you know. Because Taran Killam, and I know a lot of people want to keep point referencing Taran Killam as being next season's leading man, but I don't. Taran Killam's the foil. He is not the, and same thing with Tim Robinson. Tim Robinson, Taran Killam, they're the foils. They're the guys that's going to make, they're the funny ones. They're not going to be the straight man. Beck Bennett is going to be the straight man. And that's just based on what little I know of him. He's the straight man in the AT&T commercials, you know? And they need, SNL needs that right now because they don't have that. They don't have a Chris Parnell, you know, in this cast. You know, they just have a bunch of funny guys. Well, I mean, even if you don't think they're funny, they're supposed to be the funny ones. You know, they need a Shawn Wayans to a Marlon Wayans. They got a cast full of Marlon Wayans, but they don't have a Shawn Wayans. You know, they have a cast full of Jerry Lewis's, but they don't have a Dean Martin. You know, they have a cast full of which one was Abbott or Costello? Okay, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. They have a cast full of the funny ones. You know, they need a straight man, and Beck Bennett is, you know, the straight man. You know, so yeah, I you know, I'd like to applaud SNL for getting Beck Bennett. Moving right along, the next guy I want to talk about is Mike O Brien. Mike O Brien is being promoted from being a writer to a cast member. And Mike O Brien, I think, you know, the reason they did this is because I think Mike O Brien, even though he's a writer on the show, he's been having some heat on him. He has the 7 Minutes in Heaven. That's pretty funny. He's been doing a bunch of, you know, little web things, stand up here and there. He's been, you know, Mike O Brien has been trying to get his name out, you know, and I think that I guess they figured like, hey, we need to put this guy on the air because he's you know, he's definitely, you know, people are seeing him, people are, you know, getting used to him, you know. I think it's a good move to put Mike O Brien. You know, plus he's been in a lot of skits in this previous season. He was the guy in the Justin Timberlake skit in the Five Timers Club opening thing. He was in the Justin Bieber one where Justin Bieber were handing out the roses, and the guy he looked like a creepy perverted guy that was going to stand up and get a rose. He was like, "Nah, sit down, not you." You know. So yeah, Mike O Brien. I mean, his face is familiar. You know, even though he looks kind of weird and creepy. But I guess SNL does need a weird, creepy guy, you know. I hope he doesn't end up doing Weekend Update. Because sometimes they like to take the writers and, you know, make them Weekend Update people. But he doesn't seem like a Weekend Update guy. Even, like, Beck Bennett seems more like a Weekend Update guy than Mike O Brien. And I'm just basing this just on the surface, though. You know, I think Mike O Brien might end up being, like, kind of like that Will Forte kind of guy. You know, where they do the kind of weird skits and the little kind of audience kind of pleasing kind of things, you know. But I'm like Mike O Brien, out of all these 5 new people, Mike O Brien is the only one that I'm really wanting to see what he's going to do. Like, you know, I really want, because I see 7 Minutes in Heaven, and it just doesn't seem like he would be like, I mean, he seems like he'd be funny, but I mean, I want to know what he can really do. Like, could he really tear things up? Because, you know, I just want to see what he could do, you know. Moving right along, I want to talk about Kyle Mooney. And there's not much I can say about Kyle Mooney because he's the only one that I didn't do much research on. I kind of got a little lazy, and I went to his YouTube station, and it kind of was things that was kind of, it seemed like a bunch of outtakes and things like that, or things that I can't really judge his talent based on. You know, it was kind of like behind the scenes, him interviewing people, him kind of moving around in the background, and, you know, and stuff like that. It just wasn't, I mean, I couldn't really get a good grasp on who he was, you know, based on that. But just based on his appearance, and I know you can't judge a book by its cover, because Will Forte turned out to be different than what I thought he was going to end up being. You know, when I saw Will Forte's face and his picture and stuff, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be that guy. And Seth Meyers is another guy that turned out to be kind of different than what I thought he was going to be. You know, like I didn't think Seth Meyers was going to be kind of a weekend update guy. I didn't know he was going to be the you know what I'm saying? I thought Seth Meyers was going to be like how Taran Killam is now. I thought that's kind of what Seth Meyers was going to be. You know, but Seth Meyers ended up having his own kind of thing. You know, doing it differently than how I thought he would look. But Kyle Mooney, just based on his looks. And Andy Samberg, when I looked at Andy Samberg, I was like, oh, he's going to be this guy. And Andy Samberg did end up being the guy I thought he was going to be. Yeah, I looked at him and I was like, Andy Samberg's this guy. And Kyle Mooney, he just looks like, I see him with the long hair and the cigarette dangling out his mouth and the rugged beard and stuff. And he just looks like he's going to be like a crowd pleasing, like kind of shocking type of guy who I think is just going to come out and kind of do kind of edgy kind of things and little skits that people haven't done in a while. I think because he has that little hippie look to him. He has that, he just looks like the kind of guy that's just going to get up there and just tear something up, you know? And that's just based on his appearance. I don't know. He may be whack. And I've heard that he was on Norm Macdonald's sports show, whatever the thing it was, the thing that got canceled on Comedy Central, where Norm Macdonald talked about sports. I heard that Kyle Mooney was on there, and I don't remember seeing him. I've seen him a few times though, but not enough for it to stick with me. I don't even remember the name of the show. There's no Norm Macdonald had a sports show, But yeah, I'm just based on Kyle Mooney's appearance. I don't know. Kyle Mooney might actually be the straight man, or Kyle Mooney might actually end up being he might end up actually being kind of a Chris Parnell kind of guy. But I don't know, with hair like that, with a face like that, I doubt it. Chris Parnell kind of seems like how he looks, as far as his performances go. So, you can kind of, I hate this, you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can kind of look at the guy and see how they're going to cast him, or what he's going to do. You can just kind of, he's going to be that guy. You just look at him. Oh, yeah, he's going to play that guy. And now there are some times I've been shocked, like Will Forte and Seth Meyers, but still, it is what it is, I'm going to John Milhiser. I think that's how you say his name. John Milhiser, he's a short guy. He looks short. And, and that's cool. I don't care about stuff like that, height and weight and stuff like that, as long as you bring it, what was I going to say other than him being a short guy? Because I wrote a note to myself that he was a short guy. I seen a little bit of his, I guess some of that stuff they had on Above Average, some of the YouTube and some of the acting reels that he had. And he's pretty funny. He's pretty good. But something about him makes me think that he's going to be like a guy. He's going to be like Paul Brittain. I think he's going to be or Jeff Richards. I think he's going to be that guy that he's going to be underused. They're not going to put him in things, and I'm kind of hoping that he's going to be the guy that does the impersonations, the impressionist. I'm hoping that he's going to be a guy like that, because I don't know. I don't know, because none of these guys really look like they can do impersonations. Not saying, but then again, if you've seen a picture of Daryl Hammond, you probably wouldn't think that either, But and Daryl Hammond is like the master, you know what I'm saying? So I guess you can't, like you said, you can't judge a book by its cover entirely on that. Or Abby Elliott. Abby Elliott's a good, as good at doing impersonations and things. And you just look at her picture, you wouldn't think that. But, she's good at that. But I'm hoping that the John Milhiser guy is going to be the guy that does the different impersonations, I hope, But something I have like a little feeling that he's going to be Jeff Richards. He's going to be Paul Brittain, Let's see. But yeah, based on what I've seen on his YouTube stuff, or the things I've seen on YouTube, I have faith in him. I think he's going to be great. I hope he's going to be great. Last but not least, Noell Wells. I saved her for last. Noell Wells, I've seen her Manic Pixie skits, and they are hilarious. Noel, I think she's the funniest one out of all these people I've seen, out of all the things I've seen. Now like I said, that's unfair because I've not seen all of Kyle Mooney. But based on all the things I've seen, I think she's funnier than Mike O Brien. You know, she's funny. Like she's definitely funnier than Vanessa Beiber so far. You know, and Vanessa Beiber, man, I'm really like, I liked her at first, but I'm not much of a fan. And Miley Cyrus is back in the news because of the twerking stuff and the MTV, stuff. She's back in the, and so I know they're gonna make fun of this, and Vanessa's gonna, at least Vanessa can do that good. But oh my God, I'm hoping Noel can come in here and really tear it up, man, because it's time to get her out of here. It seems like Noell Wells is going to be the Abby Elliott that Abby Elliott wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I think she's going to be like, I think when they cast Abby Elliott, I think they're kind of like, oh man, we messed up. This sucks, man. We should have got her. We should have got somebody else. And I think Noell Wells is what they probably would have meant to get. No offense to Abby, because Abby is talented, but she just didn't do her thing. And hopefully Noel will do her thing. And there's 6. I think, what is it? 6. Okay, there's Aidy Bryant, Vanessa Beiber, Nasim Pedrad. Am I missing somebody? Vanessa Beiber, Cecily Strong. How could I forget her? And Kate McKinnon. So there's going to be 6 women in the cast, and none of them black. But you know what I'm saying? I guess they got Keenan for that though. But yeah, like they, is this a first? What about that? I think they did have 6 in the past, like in the '92 season when Ellen Cleghorn and Siobhan Fallon and Melanie Hutzel and all of them, Julia Sweeney, and I think they did have a lot of women in that particular season. So I guess this is another one of those seasons where they're gonna have a bunch of chicks, and we'll see what they can do though. We'll see. Kate and Nasim and Cecily are my favorites, and Aidy's good too, but Vanessa, where I ranked her. Actually, if you guys are listening to this, if you made it this far, you listen to it. What am I saying? Go back and check out my cast rankings for the 2012-2013 season and see where I ranked all the cast. Is there anything else I want to say about this? Let me just do a little quick recap. Beck, Bennett, AT&T guy, great. I think they made a good choice I think they did good getting him. That's the one I feel that they needed to get. Mike O Brien, yes, he's a writer that's being promoted to a cast member. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he can do because he looks like. I've seen 7 Minutes in Heaven. I've seen the little things, and I'm definitely. I'm gonna follow his career anyway. Just based on 7 Minutes in Heaven. I'm already kind of rooting for him. Kyle Mooney. I don't know who he is. Don't know much about him. I know he's in the improv troupe, the Good Neighbor. I can't say much, but he looks like a guy that's going to do some edgy stuff. John Milhiser, I hope he's going to be the guy with the impressions. I hope. I'm crossing my fingers. You better be doing some impressions. And I also think he might be a Jeff Bridges too. I think he might be the guy that they're gonna give him the short end of the stick. They're gonna cast everybody but him. And I hope they don't. I don't like to see this happen. Even with Tim Robinson, like I said, I don't want to see it happen, but if it happens, it happens. And Noell Wells, Noell Wells, she's a funny, manic pixie thing. That's funny. And her Zoe Deschanel, just as funny, or if not funnier than Abby Elliott's. And she's really popping on YouTube. Definitely check out her channel. Well, that's all I like to say. Again, check out Mr. Boom Boom Bang. Check out his singles. Don't Trust Nobody, and his mixtape, the Rebuild mixtape. And that's it. Just some guy named Jay. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.